Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with a single truth etched into your heart. You cannot fail. Not because you're perfect, not because life guarantees comfort, but because you understand something most people never discover, that failure isn't a real barrier, it's an illusion born from fear. Think about how differently you would move, think, speak, and dream if you carried that truth as your identity. What door would you knock on today? What opportunity would you chase? What version of yourself would finally be free to step forward? Most people live inside invisible cages created by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. These fears whisper limiting stories into the mind until dreams shrink to the size of what feels safe. But safety is not where destiny lives. Safety is where potential goes to sleep. The life you desire, the life your soul came here to express, requires courage to walk outside the lines fear has drawn for you. When you live as if you cannot fail, you change the foundation of every decision you make. You stop asking, what if this goes wrong? And start asking, what if this turns out better than anything I ever expected? Living as if you cannot fail isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It's a recognition that the universe doesn't respond to hesitation, it responds to certainty. When you embody the energy of someone who believes success is inevitable, your actions carry a different weight. You speak with conviction. You take steps others avoid. You trust your inner guidance more than the noise around you. You no longer beg life to work out for you. You expect it to because your inner world has already accepted the result. Failure only exists when you stop moving. As long as you keep going, the story isn't over. Every great dream, every breakthrough, every achievement humanity has ever celebrated was created by someone who refused to see failure as an endpoint. They viewed it as feedback, redirection, refinement, but never a final conclusion. If you truly lived with that mindset, what dream would you resurrect today? What idea would you bring back to life? What version of you would you finally allow to rise? The truth is simple. The fear of failure is more paralyzing than failure itself. Most people never discover their power because they quit before life had the chance to show them what was possible. But you are not here to live like most people. You are here to experience the freedom that comes when you no longer negotiate with fear. You are here to step into a higher state of being, a state where faith becomes your compass, courage becomes your default setting, and possibility becomes your language. When you choose to live as if you cannot fail, you activate a deeper intelligence within you. You begin moving with clarity, purpose, and a sense of unstoppable inner certainty. Life responds to that energy. Opportunities align, people appear, paths open, synchronicities unfold. Not because you forced life into shape, but because you became the version of yourself capable of receiving the life you're asking for. And so the question becomes, are you ready to live from the energy of I cannot fail? Are you ready to let go of who you were and embody the version of yourself who already succeeded? Because the moment you choose that identity, your life begins to transform in ways you never imagined. Every thought you think carries a frequency. Every belief radiates a vibration. Every emotion sends a signal into the universe that either opens doors or closes them. When you understand this, you begin to see why some people effortlessly attract opportunities while others feel stuck, frustrated, or blocked. The difference isn't luck, it's frequency. Faith and fear are two completely different energetic states, and each one builds a completely different life. Fear operates on a low vibration. It shrinks your energy, it narrows your vision, it convinces you to hold back, to doubt yourself, to question your worth. Fear tells you that the world is dangerous, that your dreams are unrealistic, and that failure is a disaster. When you live in fear, you're living from survival, and survival energy cannot create expansion, abundance, or breakthroughs. Faith, on the other hand, is a high-frequency state. Faith expands your energy, it widens your vision, it whispers to you that you are supported, guided, and connected to something larger than your circumstances. Faith doesn't need to see the whole path. It trusts the next step. Faith isn't blind, it's deeply aware. It knows that the universe responds to certainty, confidence, and inner alignment. When your dominant vibration is fear, you attract situations that match it: delays, obstacles, doubt, confusion, lack, missed opportunities. Because fear signals to the universe, I don't believe I'm ready, I don't believe I'm worthy, I don't believe this will work, and the universe mirrors that energy right back to you. But when your dominant vibration is faith, everything changes. Faith broadcasts a completely different message. I am ready for the next chapter. I am aligned with what I desire. I trust the timing. I trust the process. I trust myself. And life responds by flowing in your favor. Paths open that were once blocked. People appear who were once invisible. Ideas come that you never considered. You create a magnetic field that pulls opportunities toward you instead of forcing you to chase them. Faith and fear cannot exist in the same space. The moment you choose one, the other dissolves. This is why your inner state matters more than your outer effort. You can work hard in fear and still fail, but you can work calmly, intentionally, and confidently in faith, and things begin to unfold with surprising ease. Living as if you cannot fail means choosing faith as your energetic foundation. It means recognizing that the universe doesn't judge your dreams. It responds to your vibration. If your vibration is rooted in fear, you repel the very thing you're asking for. But if your vibration is rooted in trust, belief, and inner certainty, you become a match for everything you desire. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are aligned with. If you want success, raise your frequency to match success. If you want abundance, shift into the vibration of abundance. If you want breakthroughs, embody the energy of someone who is destined to rise. Faith is not about hoping life works out. It's about knowing it will, knowing that every step you take is guided, knowing that you are never walking alone, knowing that your desires are placed in your heart for a reason, because they were meant to manifest through you. The most powerful conversations you'll ever have are not with the world, they are with yourself. Every transformation begins with a shift in the dialogue that happens in the quiet corners of your mind. Your inner voice becomes the architect of your destiny. And the truth is, most people are held hostage, not by their circumstances, but by the sentences they silently repeat to themselves. If your inner language is filled with doubt, insecurity, hesitation, and fear, then even the greatest opportunities will feel out of reach. But when your inner language is empowered, aligned, and intentional, life begins to unfold in ways that mirror that strength. Your mind is always listening to you, even when you think it isn't. If you say, I'm not ready, your mind closes the door. If you say, this is too hard, your mind shuts down possibility. And if you say, what if I fail? Your mind starts searching for reasons why success isn't possible. These thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. Not because they're true, but because your energy aligns with them so strongly that your actions follow the path of your beliefs. You cannot speak words of limitation and expect a life of expansion. To live as if you cannot fail, you must first speak as if you cannot fail. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulty or pretending everything is perfect. It means refusing to let fear dictate the tone of your inner world. Every time fear whispers, you're not good enough, respond with, I am more capable than I've ever known. Every time doubt asks, what if you fall? Answer with, what if I rise higher than I imagined? This shift in internal dialogue is not just motivational fluff, it is energetic alignment. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. Whatever you repeatedly affirm becomes the blueprint it follows. When you consistently tell yourself that success is natural, that abundance is normal, that opportunities belong to you, your subconscious begins searching for ways to make those beliefs real. You start seeing possibilities that were invisible before. You start recognizing openings where you once only saw obstacles. You begin behaving like someone who expects good things. When you change the way you talk to yourself, you change the way you move through life. Your decisions become bolder, your confidence grows, Your energy becomes magnetic. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Instead, you step into your own expansion because your inner voice finally matches your potential. Reprogramming your inner conversation is an act of self-liberation. It is choosing to speak from your highest self rather than your wounded past. It is choosing to embody your future rather than recycle your old stories. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to be perfect. You simply need to be consistent. Every empowered thought is a brick laid in the foundation of your new identity. Start telling yourself a new story, a story of growth, strength, alignment, and unstoppable forward movement. Speak as if you are supported. Speak as if you are guided. Speak as if everything you desire is already on its way. Because the moment your inner voice shifts, your entire life begins to shift with it. And that is where transformation truly begins, not outside you, but within you. There comes a moment in every person's journey where they must decide whether they will live by their own inner calling or by the expectations of others. Most people wait. They wait for approval, for validation, for a sign, for someone to tell them that their dream is worthy, their ideas make sense, and their vision is realistic. But waiting for permission is how dreams die in silence. Purpose is not something that requires approval. Purpose is something you honor by choosing it boldly and unapologetically. When you live as if you cannot fail, you stop seeking permission and start taking responsibility for your own potential. You no longer need someone to nod and say, yes, go ahead. You no longer wait for circumstances to be perfect. You no longer measure your worth by how people react. Instead, you act from a place of inner certainty. You show up because you know that your desire is the evidence that the path is meant for you. What others think becomes irrelevant. What you believe becomes everything. Acting with purpose means stepping forward even when the path is unclear. It means trusting your intuition more than the noise around you. It means understanding that confidence doesn't come from knowing the outcome. It comes from choosing the journey. People who live with purpose are not reckless. They are courageous. They move with intention. They pay attention to the signals life gives them. They are guided from within, not pushed from the outside. Permission-based living is rooted in fear, the fear of making the wrong choice, the fear of standing out, the fear of being misunderstood. But purpose-based living is rooted in freedom. It says, I don't need everyone to agree with me. I only need to agree with myself. When you act from purpose, you begin to move with a sense of clarity that others can feel. Your decisions become cleaner, your energy becomes stronger, your direction becomes unmistakably aligned. And something incredible happens when you start acting without waiting for permission. Life begins to support you. Doors open, connections appear, answers find you. The universe is not aligned with hesitation, it aligns with conviction. When you step boldly, you signal to life that you are ready, and life responds by sending you what you need. This is why so many breakthroughs happen after a single moment of courageous action. Not because circumstances magically changed, but because you did. Acting with purpose does not mean ignoring fear. It means choosing movement despite fear. It is understanding that the true risk is not taking the leap. The true risk is staying exactly where you are. You cannot become the person you were born to be by remaining the person you are today. Growth demands motion. Destiny demands boldness. Fulfillment demands action. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of your hesitation, a stronger version, a freer version, a more aligned version. And that version of you is not waiting for permission, it is waiting for you to decide. So act with purpose. Trust the pull inside you. Move with the energy of someone who knows they cannot fail. Because when purpose becomes your compass, approval becomes unnecessary, and progress becomes inevitable. Most people believe manifestation is about working harder, pushing more, chasing endlessly, and forcing life into the shape they want. But manifestation has never been about force. It has always been about alignment. The most profound transformations don't happen when you strain, they happen when you shift your inner state. When you become a vibrational match to what you desire, life flows toward you with a natural ease that can almost feel miraculous. There's a rhythm to the universe, and everything you want already exists within that rhythm. When your energy is aligned, you move in harmony with that rhythm. You're not fighting against life, you're working with it. You're not begging for change, you're becoming the version of yourself capable of receiving it. The moment your energy aligns with your intention, you stop trying to force outcomes and begin allowing them to unfold. Real manifestation doesn't ask, how can I make this happen? It asks, who must I become for this to naturally belong to me? Because the truth is, you don't attract what you're chasing. You attract what you are. If you're constantly stressed, doubtful, and desperate, you're sending a signal that you're disconnected from your desire. But when you relax into trust, clarity, and confidence, you're broadcasting the frequency of someone already living the reality they want to create. Alignment means your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions all speak the same language. It means your inner world is synchronized with the outcome you're calling in. When you're aligned, you feel a sense of calm power, not frantic effort. Your steps feel guided. Your decisions feel intuitive. You stop second-guessing yourself because you know you're being led by something far greater than logic alone. And that's when the magic happens. Opportunities begin to show up with perfect timing. Ideas flow effortlessly. You meet people who hold keys to the next stage of your journey. What once felt complicated becomes simple. What once seemed distant moves closer. What once required force now unfolds through flow. Effort has its place, but effort without alignment is exhausting. When you operate from misalignment, you work 10 times harder and receive a fraction of the results. But when you operate from alignment, small actions produce massive outcomes. You don't need to chase, you magnetize. You don't need to struggle, you allow. You don't need to force, you trust. Alignment is not passive. It is not sitting and waiting for life to deliver your dreams. It is becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts those dreams. It is choosing thoughts that support your vision. It is nurturing emotions that elevate your vibration. It is taking actions inspired by inner clarity rather than outer pressure. You are not manifesting from the future. You are manifesting from the present version of you. Change your state and your life must follow. When your internal frequency matches your external desire, manifestation becomes a natural extension of who you are. That is the real secret. Once you align your energy, the universe takes care of the rest. There is a version of you that already knows exactly what to do. A version of you that has already succeeded, already risen above the obstacles, already manifested the life you desire. This version exists within you right now, not as a fantasy, not as wishful thinking, but as a parallel identity waiting to be activated. To live as if you cannot fail is to step into that version of yourself fully and unapologetically. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that version of you standing in front of you. Notice their posture, steady, grounded, confident. Notice their energy, calm, certain, unshakable. Notice the way they carry themselves, not with arrogance, but with a quiet, powerful assurance. That version of you isn't hoping things will work out. They know things will work out. They don't question their path, they follow it. They don't fear failure. They see every experience as part of the unfolding. This is the version of you who walks with faith, not fear, who acts with purpose, not hesitation, who trusts the process, not the pressure, who believes in possibility, not limitation. When you choose to embody this version of yourself, your entire life begins to rise to meet you. You think differently, you speak differently, you move differently, you expect differently, and because you expect differently, the universe responds differently. You become a magnet for synchronicities, blessings, opportunities, and breakthroughs, not because life suddenly changed, but because you did. Stepping into the version of you that never fails doesn't mean you become perfect. It means you stop identifying with the version of yourself that doubts, hesitates, and holds back. It means you stop telling stories that weaken your spirit. It means you stop shrinking yourself to fit into the expectations of others. It means you start living from your highest alignment, your deepest truth, your most powerful frequency. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering who you were always meant to be. The part of you that is limitless, the part of you that is connected to the source of all creation. The part of you that understands that life responds not to effort, but to energy. When you embody the version of yourself who knows they cannot fail, you become unstoppable, not because everything is easy, but because nothing can break your alignment. You have a choice in every moment to live from fear or from faith, to act from doubt or from purpose, to speak limitation or to speak possibility, to hesitate or to rise. Decide now to rise. Decide now to step into the identity of someone who is guided, supported, and destined for greatness. Decide now to release the old stories of failure and embrace the truth that you are capable of more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. Live as if you cannot fail, because the moment you choose that identity, failure loses its power. Doubt loses its voice, fear loses its influence, and the path ahead opens in ways you never expected. Your future is waiting for you to step into it, and it begins the moment you choose to become the version of yourself who is born to rise.